Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Oops, turn around. Oh, well. We'll try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So we just almost finished up the Ultima weapon just yesterday. And we're just finishing up the tippy end of that today. And so we're just starting off exactly where we left off because the main characters are in unique positions. They are lined up along the hallway, which I thought was kind of cool, as you can see. And then as you approach, they applaud, which is neat. It's kind of neat. Then you go through the doors, and then there's the Scotians, and then we proceed to the office. We have Alphanode and Minfilia. Hail Minfilia. We have a cutscene. Everybody's waving and nodding to each other. Oh, catch that. Okay. Minfilia says, the Archons have... Oh, okay. For a second there I thought I was muted. Okay. Minfilia says, the Archons have conducted a preliminary investigation into the origin of the roar that rang out during the celebration. Their findings strongly suggest that a new Primal has appeared. The roar generated a distinctive wave pattern in the ether, a pattern observed only once before in history, 5 years ago to be precise. I should like to think it mere coincidence, yet we cannot discount that possibility. Well, I trust I need I say no more. At great sacrifice, we have delivered Erosia from the threat posed by the Empire and the Primals, and thereby secured peace. We cannot well allow the realm to be plunged into chaos once more. You have given your all for our cause, risking life and limb on I know not how many occasions. Yet our struggle continues, and we need you now no less than before. Please continue to stand with us, and together we shall safeguard the future of the realm, this very star. Complete. Flying unlocked. Yes! You can now fly while mounted in La Lominska, Thanalan, the Black Shroud, Corthus Central Highlands, and Mordona. Yes, I can fly! To take flight, simply jump while mounted. I've gotten the achievement Warrior of Light. Okay. And the quests are never done. Hail Minfilia. Reoccurring problem? We'll come back, probably. Okay. Continuing with the main story quest line. Minfilia appears to be lost in thought. Minfilia says, Nyra? It pleases me to see you well. Door opens and Tataru walks in. Tataru says, do excuse me for interrupting, Nyra. My lady, the gentleman from Ashgana Exports has just left. I understand now why you didn't want to receive him. Minfilia says, you did well, Tataru. Please inform the guards that we will not be receiving any further guests this afternoon. Tataru gives a thumbs up and goes, thank you, my lady. Amphilia turns to me and continues. Ever since we defeated Gaius found Belstar and destroyed his ultimate weapon, the eyes of the world have followed our every move, scarce remembering to blink. Yeesh. Where once we worked in secret, with precious few friends and all too many enemies, we are now besieged by benefactors, each one more eager than the last to offer us his complete support. A true embarrassment of riches. Of course, every promise of patronage comes with a price. Some make their intentions known from the start, while others endeavor to engage us more subtly. Dress it how they will, the message is ever the same. We shall help you, but only if you help us. The gentleman Tataru spoke of was more brazen than most. In exchange for certain supplies, he would have us resolve a business dispute. Naturally, I refused him, as I have every other merchant of his ilk. Alas, the syndicate's overtures are not so easily rejected. When we formed the Scorpions of the Seventh Dawn, it was with the goal of serving Erosia, not the interests of individual Erosians. Our neutrality is fundamental to our cause. In my heart, I know this to be true, and yet, if accepting these offers of patronage would empower us to do greater good, might they not warrant greater consideration? Our Bastalian colleagues have been generous beyond measure, but we cannot expect them to... Forgive me, I did not mean to burden you so. Amphilia continues, yet my urge to share this dilemma may not be wholly misguided. Might I impose upon you to consult the others? They are like to have their own opinions on this matter. Okay, let's go talk to the others. Hey Barnstormer, good morning. I just picked up the side unlock quest that was available from Amphilia. And Amphilia says, in cutscene, I know you have scarce had a chance to rest, but I am afraid there is still work to do. Yushtula says, the ultimate weapon's destruction, 'twas seem, has served to embolden the beastmen, who now seek to call down their gods once more. Papalimo says, even as we speak, the Amalja and the Inixel and the Kobolds are making preparations for their respective summoning rites, and that is but the half of it. Much to our dismay, all three tribes were somehow able to procure vast quantities of crystals. Yeda says, oh, my turn to say something? Basically, this means the Primals will be stronger than they were before. Amphilia says, far, far stronger. The previous incarnations will seem as pale imitations. Thancred says, the beast tribes, we believe, begun hoarding crystals with a vengeance in the wake of the Ultima's weapons maiden appearance. You will remember that as the time it devoured 3 primals in one sitting. Amphilia says, the Grand Companies are aware of the potential primal outbreak. Alas, due to the losses they incurred to ensure the success of Operation Archon, they are ill-equipped to take any meaningful measures. Undre says, after deliberation, the leaders concluded that they must needs turn to us once more, to thee. Menthalia says, the etheric waves that were observed in Mordahuna do not appear to bear a connection to any beast tribe. Yet much and more still remains beyond our knowing. We must be prepared for all possibilities. I am loath to send you into the midst of danger again so soon, but none have proven themselves more capable against the primals than you. Will you undertake this mission, Nyra? You have my thanks. I truly do not know what we would do without you. Go, Thancred. Thancred says, ahem. With circumstances as they were, I haven't had the chance to properly express my gratitude. I owe you my life, Nyra. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. A string of failures had left me feeling powerless. I wanted to be stronger, that I might do right by my fellow Scotians. But instead, I caused you all no end of grief and suffering. I swear to you, it shan't happen again. Owing to everyone's ministrations, I am quite recovered now. I hope to return to my duties again soon. Menthalia says, Thancred's return marks the beginning of a new chapter for the Scotians. Let us renew the fire in our hearts and continue to press ever forward. Now then, back to the matter of the primals. With no fewer than 3 of the beings threatening to appear, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. We must take it one sure step at a time. Undre has the overview of the situation as it stands. Please speak with him to receive guidance on your mission. I think that's just unlocking the higher tiers of the trials for the primals. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that for now and continue with the main story. Alright. I think we need to go in here. Yeah, we go in here. Hail Y'shtola. Y'shtola says, recall you are meeting with the Admiral shortly after the Lomensian sent word of the summoning of Titan. Then mayhap you also recall my words to our host. I said unto the Admiral that her people had broken their treaty with the kobolds, and that the beastmen had justly responded, that we had been called to intervene in a conflict which she herself had invited. I speak, in short, the truth. And wherefore did I speak it? Because, owning no allegiance to Lomencia, I felt no compulsion to allow the Lomencians to distort the facts to fit a narrative which justified their actions and absolved them of guilt. Upon this subject, Menthalia can expect a similar reply. Our many divergences with the city-states may already weaken our claim to neutrality, but the path she contemplates would see us relinquish it entirely. Oh, I see. I can't go between the box and the chair. Fine. Hail Thancred. Thancred says, fortune begets power, and power fortune. That we, and especially you, have power is beyond doubt. The question is what to do with it. You may be interested to know that there is a growing belief amongst refugees that the Alamigo could be liberated if only the Scortians would commit their strength to the cause. Yet theirs is but one of many causes. We stand at a crossroads, Nyra. Each path is paved with good intentions, but where they lead is far from clear. Those poor Alamigoans. Hail Papa Limo. Papa Limo says, none can deny that we should benefit from more support. But if it comes at the cost of our principles, neutrality was ever a delicate matter. I've lost count of the times I've had to explain to people that our allegiances need not necessarily lie in the same place as our headquarters. Mind you, if we are to sell our services for Gil, we might as well declare our fealty to Ada now and have done with it. I'm quite sure Yeda would enjoy the bribes. Hail Yeda. Yeda says, I've been receiving a lot of gifts lately, but Papa Milo keeps making me send them back. It wouldn't be so bad, but some of them are really nice. I mean, very nearly abandon your principles nice, you know? Orionje. What say you? Orionje says, such knowledge as I possess of the beast tribes and their primals is at thy disposal. Okay. His knowledge is at my disposal. Whether man or man beast, we are wont to seek power when plunged into the black depths of despair. That despair doth begin with Alamergi, who may have already summoned forth Ifrit. With our comrades, Thancred now returned. Thou wouldest do well to seek his counsel. I did. Okay, quest turn in. Am speaking of Orionje. Well, I hailed him again, and now he says, "'Tis the lot of the powerful to attract the covetous as well as the needy. Thus doth caution dictate that those with power proof aid with one hand, whilst the other resteth ever on their hilt. Alas, we have not the luxury of time to decipher our petitioners' motivations. Nay, not while the beast tribes do labor unseen, defiant in defeat, to rise up their fallen primals once more. Doubt not that they shall return stronger and bolder both, nor that we shall be the ones to meet them. This sacred charge shall ever be theirs. 'Tis put a pity we are so few, and our fortune so finite." There we go. Now we have to go talk to Ulfenold. Hail Ulfenold. Cutscene. Ulfenold goes, this situation is not wholly unexpected. I, too, have given much thought to our organization's future, though it would seem I have reached a different conclusion. Mayhap it is time I made my feelings known to the antecedent. Come along, Nyra. Menthilia says, Elfino, Nyra, is aught amiss? Elfino goes, Alphinaud says, You desire counsel, and so you shall have it, Menthilia. The squashions of the seventh dawn must leave Ura. Menthilia says, We must do what? Alphinaud goes, So long as we remain within Udal's territory, we will never be free to act with impunity. Moving our headquarters to Vasper Bay only delayed the inevitable. We have demonstrated our capabilities, and the Syndicate has taken note. They will not suffer our organization to remain independent now. We are far too dangerous for that. Surely you realize they are the reason Vesper Bay still lacks an aetheryte. They know full well how beneficial one would be to our cause. Which is why it and other favors will be denied us unless we cooperate. Menthilia says, If Oda is no longer suitable, where would you have us go? Alphina goes, Experience has taught us that the appearance of neutrality is as important as the reality. Accordingly, we must keep each of the great nations at arm's length and plant our banner in a place which all agree to be beyond their borders. More Dohona. Revenant's Toll, to be precise. It lies within neutral territory and offers all the essential facilities we require. By way of an additional benefit, it is also frequented by a veritable legion of adventurers who may serve to supplement our ranks. I am, of course, curious of the fact that we have developed a certain bond with Ura and her people over the years. But I truly believe this to be the best course of action. Menthilia says, As you yourself observed, we have invaluable ties to the local community forged through years of concerted effort. Uda is our home, Alphinaud. To cast aside everything we have built and start anew in that desolate wasteland would be beyond reckless. Alphinaud says, The decision is yours to make, antecedent. I ask only that you recall the shared purpose which first moved us to find the squishions of the seventh dawn, to found the squishions of the seventh dawn, and which moved you to found the path of the 12 ere that. We aspire to an ideal, you and I, just as my grandfather did. That makes us more than mere comrades in arms. We are as much your family as... Menthilia says, That will be all, Alphinaud. Menthilia catches Alphinaud as he turns to leave and says, I am sure you have some formal affairs of your own to attend to. Alphinaud says, Your concern is most generous, but no, I have left them in the hands of men better suited to the task than I. I could not very well allow my personal affairs to come before the needs of the order, after all. Okay. Halo Minfilia. What's that? Oh, cooking journal. Minfilia says, "Leave Oda. Has it truly come to this?" Oh, Nyra. Pray attend to Alphinaud. He is engaged in some business or other and requires your assistance. Pray, be on your way. Alphinaud awaits upon you, and I have much to think about. Oh, and tell him he shall have my answer in due time. Okay. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, where's Alphinaud? Oh, he's right here. Hail, Alphinaud. Cutscene. Alphinaud says, "Confound it. She knows what must be done, and still she hesitates. All because of these fanciful rumors." I should explain. Minfilia's mother, well, adoptive mother, was among the great many who perished during the calamity. Philhamen was her name. Philhamen was her name. Though you may know her better as the songstress of Ura. She was a performer of singular talent and much beloved by the people of Erosia, not to mention a certain I know how to say the word. I know what it sounds like. Charlanian minstrel. As you may imagine, the news of her passing was greeted with shock and disbelief by her adoring followers, many of whom refused to acknowledge what had happened. That her body was never found only served to encourage speculation. Minfilia, too, struggled at first to accept the truth, but as Flimham's absence stretched from months into years, she saw that there could be no other explanation. Until recently, at any rate. For whatever reason, rumors have once again begun to circulate that Flimham is alive and well. One of our informants, Father Ilud, has sent word that a woman matching the songstress's description has been seen of late at the seaside resort of Costa del Sol. If we could succeed in tracking her down, I have no doubt that any worries that now plague Minfilia's heart might be assuaged. I mean to set forth for La Lenunskia at once. Let us reconvene there and inquire with Master Gigiruju as to the the truth of these rumors. Okay. Costa del Sol. can fly. There it is. Hail, Gigi Rujo. Gigi Rujo? Gigi Rujo says, "Oh, sweet siren of the sands, my miscute muse, why have you forsaken me?" Titans, I mean, Nyra, what brings you to my humble resort? Philhamen, you mean to tell me the goddess made flesh who dwelt among us until so very recently was the songstress of Uda? Ye gods, woman, if I had known that, I would have chained her to my bedpost and never let her leave. For shame, to think that she now plies her trade for the riff-raff off to the west or wherever she said she was going. It's a tragedy, I say, a tragedy. West, is it? Thank you, Master. Or Alphanaut says. West, is it? Thank you, Master Gigi Rujo. Your information will serve us well. That said, there are any number of places she could be. I shall begin my search by the docks and see if any witnesses might have some knowledge to spare. I would be most appreciative if you could travel on to Wineport and do the same. Okay. Gather information at Wineport. Isn't Wineport? Yeah, it's over there. Because I'm lazy. I don't want to fly over there. Alright. Oh, excuse me. I think in this building, looks like. Excuse me a second. Sorry, I got sneezes and stuff. Alright. Beer Gallerants. Beer Gallerant says, well, if it isn't Nyra, the savior of Wineport, to what do we owe the pleasure? Ah, yes, we did receive a customer matching that description. She was a delight to behold, to give the woman her due. But her perfume was so ghastly, I had no choice but to eject her from the premises, interfering with tastings, you understand. If she is your quarry, why not consult your blind associate? His olfactory perception is without peer, given that I could smell the woman from a mile away. I dare say he could smell her from 10. Okay. Who am I supposed to talk to? Oh, it's over there. Fly! Because nobody wants to navigate that. Here we are. Here we are. Hail! He says, eh? You want to know if I've seen a miscute lass by the name of Philhamen? I wish. I haven't seen a lass of any description for too bloody long. Excepting yourself, of course. Okay. So money. What say you? I see you have had many grand adventures since we last spoke, Nyra. You must share them with me sometime. The girl from a little while ago. One does not forget a perfume like that, so robust and intoxicating, yet at the same time familiar, reminiscent of a bloom native to these parts, in fact. I said as much when we spoke, and she complimented my powers of observation and asked me where she might find some of the flowers. I told her to follow the road south to Raincatcher Gully, then head east after crossing the second bridge. The flowers which grow in the shade of the cliff have the strongest scent, you see. If you make haste, you may yet find her there. Okay. Okay. Well, it says over here, but I have a feeling it means over there. Yep. There's our zone line. Following the wrong one. No, I got one to follow. Okay. Why is there a light under there? Oh. Huh. Okay, here we go. Abazi Charazi. Hail! Abazi Charazi says, "You're one of aliens, aren't ya? That one's got a ghost in her attic, you know. Keeps sending other adventurers to that damn place she calls a palace, thinking you're going to bring her feller back." Oh my. 'Twas 7 of us that day. One of them her fella. My best friend was another. Soon as we walked in, a tomberry attacked. It was dark, and we couldn't get purchase on the floor, for 'twas covered in lake slime, then in blood. Well, that's ominous. What's more there to say? Only Aline and I made it out by the grace of the 12. Everyone else is dead. Think I'd leave him behind? Leave my brother by another blood? If I hadn't seen what the Tomberry left, I saw no treasure there, only death. I've said my piece. You still want to see for yourself, that's your business. I'll ferry you there. Oh, this isn't very close, is it? Okay. For my adventuring days are over, and I'm the boatman of this lake. She thinks they all live, you see. All 5 of 'em hiding from the Tomberry somewhere in the palace. She tried to flee the infirmary. She told folk about her friends needing rescuing. Then she got Then she got sly. Ah, poor lost dog. Okay, so how is the dungeon unlock? Okay, I still need to do this one. Where is it? Oh, south. Okay, I feel silly now. Hello, everybody who's watching. If you find yourself kicking back and enjoying the stream, please drop a follow or you may not see me again. You may be lost in the crowd. I also have a goal I'm trying to reach, so I would appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Oh, what is her name? Hello. Okay. Hail. Phil Hammond. We have a cutscene and she says, I am in your debt, stranger. I did not realize my activities had aroused the Gobru's ire until it was too late. Their oils can be used to make perfume, you see, and Fleminion, I don't... Who are you? Whom do you serve? Alphino walks up from who knows where he was hiding and says, It appears you've already found our woman. Consider me impressed, my friend. Alphino continues, The songstress of Oda, I presume. Minfilia, or should I say Askelia, is looking for you. Philhamin says, Askelia? Alphinaud says, You are the very picture of health, my lady. Yet the world thinks you are dead. I can only conclude that this was by design. The question is, why? Philhamin says, Not everyone who endeavors to find me does so with the best intentions, child. You will be pleased to know that I fully intend to reveal myself to Minfilia when the time is right. Alphinaud says, Oh, well, that does please me more than you know. But tell me, sojourns in the fortress of Lenontia aside, when exactly will the time be right? Philhamin says, When I deem it so. Do you imagine I traveled all this way on a whim? As I was telling your associate prior to your intrusion, I came here to harvest these flowers to use in a perfume. Does that satisfy your curiosity, or would you interrogate me further? Alphinaud says, My apologies for the intrusion. Anyway, now that we all have that which we came for, might we continue this conversation in a safer locale? A wine port, say? gotta teleport. I can just cheat. Hang on a second. There we go. There we go. Teleportation magic. Okay, there she is. Okay. Or Alphinaud. Alright. Hail Alphinaud. Alphinaud says this is not at all how I had envisioned it. I can scarce begin to imagine what emotions will go through Minfilia's heart when she reunites with her mother after all these years. Vahaman, hail. Vahaman says, you say my daughter awaits us in Vesper Bay, yes? I have kept her waiting long enough. Let us be off on the next ferry. I can finish fashioning the perfume along the way. Alphinaud goes, understood. Come with me. It would be my pleasure to escort you to the Waking Sands. Okay, straight ahead. Entrance to the solar. Okay. Okay, just me and Minfilia. Hail, Minfilia. The doors open behind us, and in walks Alphinaud, saying, Ascendant, you have a guest. And then there she is. Minfilia goes, Lama, la. Wait, that's an F on there. Haman? Philhaman says, Astilia. And they hug each other. Aww. Tataru says to me, I haven't seen her like this in years, Nyra. Minfilia disengages from the hug and says, I never truly believed it when they told me you were dead, but what kept you away for so long? Fahaman says, the Imperials came for me, as I always knew they would, and so I resolved to stay as far away from you as I could, lest their pursuit of me endanger you and our cause. I could think of no better way to grant you the freedom to continue our work. And continue what you did, achieving things I would not have imagined possible. I followed your every success and celebrated in secret. I am so proud of you, Astilia. Minfilia goes, I learned from the best. Feminian nods and goes, I have a gift for you. Minfilia says, so that's a perfume you remembered. Fahaman says, how could I ever forget? You were all the time. If ever I lost sight of you, I could find you again just by following my nose. Minfilia says, I did not think it was made anymore. You must have gone so much trouble. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Vahaman says, it was no trouble to me, my darling. I fear I cannot say the same for Nyra, however. I could not have made it without her. Menthelia says, thank you, Nyra. Thank you both. Vahaman says, there's something else. No, she hands her something else. Menthelia says, this is the cat's eye I found. All those years you kept it? Menthelia continues, my father was a member of the Alamegan resistance. When I was yet a child, he brought me here to Ada. The accident which claimed his life happened shortly after our arrival. It was Lahaman who took care of me then. She raised me as her own, taught me everything I needed to know to survive. Alphina goes, I am no stranger to the facts of your history, yet I fear I have failed to grasp their implications. It is clear that there is much I do not know about you and your mother both. Menthelia nods and says, one of her first lessons to me concerned mining, and I was a very dedicated student. This cat's eye was the first stone I unearthed. It wasn't much, of course, but I was exceedingly proud to have found it nonetheless. Menthelia continues, so I gave it to Lahamin as a gift. She said it was beautiful, but there I am at a loss. Why are you returning this to me? Is something amiss? Lahamin shakes her head no, and says, no, Celia, nothing is amiss. Quite the opposite. I need you to realize how far you've come, and how much further you must still go. You and your allies have accomplished more than I could ever have hoped. You have succeeded where I failed, and made me so proud that words fail me. Even as I marvel at the woman you've become, and at all the many things you've done, I cannot help but think of that which you have yet to do, and of what it may entail. Acelia, daughter, you cannot stay here anymore. You and the Scotians must leave Oda. Menthelia goes, Lahamin. Vahaman says, You built it once. You built it once, Acelia. You can build it again, and this time we'll do it together. Menthelia says, truly? Vahaman nods her head, yes. Menthelia turns to the rest of the room and says, Alphanot, the time has come for the Scotians to leave Vesper Bay. we shall establish a new headquarters in Reverence Toll as you proposed. Much work lies ahead of us. Inform our fellow Scotians and send word to the students of Belstadian. Preparations begin at once. Hail Menphilia. Cutscene. Menphilia says, "It is all well and good that we have found ourselves a new home in Reverence Toll, but there is so much to be done, and in so little time. Our first step will be to secure the cooperation of the Adventurers Guild representatives there. Were it not for the Guild's considerable efforts, the original camp Reverence Toll would never have been established, much less its more heavily fortified successor. However, with construction still ongoing and the resources in short supply, it seems certain that the Guild will require something in return for their support, sympathetic to our cause though they may be. Whatever they ask, I shall not begrudge it. To be plain, we need them more than they need us. Without their assistance, such essential tasks as securing new facilities, cultivating relationships with local merchants, and recruiting adventurers would prove difficult, if not impossible." The doors opened. Alphinaud says, "You need not concern yourself with such matters. Antecedent. Bunch of people just walked in. Menphilia says, "Really, Alphinaud, if I need concern myself with anything, it surely matters such as these." Alphinaud says, "Indirectly, perhaps. I submit that you might instead concern yourself with a different matter, namely, to whom the resolution of such matters might best be entrusted. And here I am. Nor do I come alone. May I present the esteemed emissary of the Adventurers Guild at Reverence Toll." Adventurers Guild emissary says, "It is an honor antecedent. Upon receiving word of your intentions from Master Alphinaud, we thought it best to begin our talks at the earliest available opportunity. Know that my associates at Reverence Toll hold the Scotians of the Seventh Dawn in the highest regard. We should be honored to welcome your organization." Alphinaud says, "There are, of course, certain provisions which must needs be negotiated. If it please you, I would do so." Menphilia says, "It does." Adventurers Guild emissary turns to me and says, "Madame, unless I am much mistaken, you are the one known as Nyra, are you not? May I say what a pleasure it is to make your acquaintance. Self-born spoke of you in the most glowing terms. To steal an Imperial Reaper and then use it to infiltrate a Garlean castrum is an undertaking few would contemplate, and fewer still survive. You shall always be welcome at Reverend's Toll. We hope you will favor us with your presence again ere long. And they walk out. And Alphanode walks out too. Nymphilia says, well, well, it would seem your reputation precedes you, Nyra. Mayhap I should dispense you to Reverend's Toll with all haste, as first intended. But before that, I dare say you have earned yourself a rest. After all, you have traveled so far, and there is already so much you have done for us, and for me. We will speak again anon. Till then, take care. And I turn and walk out. I'm sitting at a table in one of the other rooms when Nymphilia walks in and goes, "Ah, Nyra, were you able to get some rest? I would ask you to come with me to the Solar. Alphinaud has just returned, and it would seem there is something he would share with us." Looks like we got the whole gang in here. Yep. And Tataru. Alphinaud says, "You're here. Good. I come bearing news." The negotiations are concluded. Nymphilia says, "And?" Alphinaud turns behind him and says, "Our friends at the Adventurers Guild have agreed to furnish us with new facilities and material support in exchange for our assistance in the ongoing defense and development of Reverend's Toll." The Scorpions of the 7th Dawn shall have a new home in Mordhona, the Rising Stones. Y'shtola says, "The bittersweet victory, if truth be told. I cannot deny that I had come to look forward to Tataru's tales of our many guests and their many, many demands." Tataru shrugs. Therankirk says, "From the waking sands to the rising stones. Passably poetic. That wasn't your doing, was it?" He's looking at Onjurunje. Urionje. Mentelia says, "I too have news to share. In expectation of this momentous day, I personally informed the Alliance leaders of our plans, and they have each pledged their full support, General Rubahan included. Moreover, I have decided that the time is right for us to cast off the vestiges of our order's veil of secrecy and announce ourselves to the world." Alphinaud says, Are you sure that is wise? Antecedent? Memphilia says, if anything, it is a mere formality. Our existence is quite possibly the worst kept secret in Erosia. Let us affirm our identity, proclaim our achievements, all that all may know what the Scotians of the Seventh Dawn stand for. Papa Limo says, well, obvious risks apart, it would be nice to receive a little more recognition. Yeda says, and the people have a right to know who saved them. Memphilia says, it is my hope that this gesture will encourage the people of Erosia to place their trust in us. I would reveal to them the true extent of our power, yes, but in so doing, I would show them that it is a power accountable to no one, and at once to all. And what of us? We who have felled primals and faced down the Empire, to you, my fellow Scotians, I would say this. Prepare for the challenges which lie ahead, for they will be great indeed. Memphilia continues, great, I say, yet no greater than us, and we will rise to them, as we have time and again united as one. Everybody cheers. And everybody walks out of Memphilia's office. Except for me. And Totaro stops in the door and says, there must be some way I can... Wait. That area is said to be rich in minerals. Mayhap I should ask Philhammon to teach me the basics of mining too. And she continues walking. Okay. Hail Memphilia. Memphilia says, do you ever wonder how he does it? Alphanod, I mean. It was almost predictable that he should appear with an emissary of the Adventurers Guild mere moments after I had expressed the need to forge ties between our organizations. Truly, his sense of timing rivals even your own. Setting such mysteries aside for the present, I have a task for you. I would like you to deliver these documents to Sulfborn. They concern our forthcoming move. Do take care on the road and represent us well, Nyra. Teleport! I'm avoiding the road. That just looks weird. Okay. Self-born. Hail. Self-born says, I was told to expect a Scotian, but I didn't expect it to be you. It has been far too long, Nyra. You have something for me, yes. I have a letter. Here you go. Selfman says, let's see now. Yes, everything appears to be in order. You'll be staying with us for a while, yes? Would that we had a dozen more like you. Since we don't, though, we'll just give you the work of a dozen men. Ha! I jest. funny. Hail softboard. Quest accept. Cutscene. Softborn says, back to do the work of a dozen men, I see. Ha! But I jest. That's an old joke now. He continues, even I can appreciate that an important woman such as yourself has little time for menial tasks. But since you're here, mayhap you'd be keen on having a look around the Scotians' new home. See that impressive structure over there? That's the place. You turn around and look at it. It looks kind of like a door in a castle wall, more or less. There's a banner, but yeah. Okay. Selfborn says, it was originally built to house a branch of the Guild, you see. As such, it comes complete with a tavern which adventurers can rest from the road, fill their bellies with good food and drink, and their ears with tales of fortunes to be had about the realm. It may get a bit ruckus at times, but I imagine it'll be as good a place as any to recruit capable men and women to your cause. Come with me. I'll show you around. Uh-oh, Link Shell. Ah, Tataro's contacting me. She says, is it you, Nyra? I'm quite sorry to interrupt, but I have most urgent news. We received grim tidings from Godonia. It would appear our aid is required at once. I must ask you to report back to the Waking Sands with all due haste. Softbone says, is everything quite alright, friend? I turn back to him. Go. Probably not my head. No, I don't. Oh. Selfborn continues. I can't say I'm privy to the details, but it would appear this is no time for a luxury tour. But no worries. You can rest assured that I'll see to all necessary arrangements. Pray, return any time after you've seen to your more pressing matters. There's a lot of unlocked quests. Totaro! What's up? Totaro says, a messenger from the Twin Adder came to the Waking Sands while you were in Mordahona. I wasn't privy to his conversation with the assailant, but I did see the look on her face after he took his leave. Something is definitely amiss. It could be that the Excel have summoned Garuda again, or mayhap Imperial forces have been sighted within the Shroud. Well, whatever it may be, I'm absolutely certain it's nothing you can't handle. Now go and ask the assailant if there's anything you can do. Okay, so she didn't send for me? What is this, Tataru? There's nobody in here but Minfilia, so hail Minfilia. cutscene. So many cutscenes. You're running back and forth and back and forth and back and then back and forth. Alright. Mephilia says, I knew this day would come, yet I prayed it would not come so soon. We have reason to believe that another primal, or an entity resembling one, has been summoned in Gordonia. Door opens. Ondre walks in. Ondre says, thine arrival is customarily timely, Nyra. The etheric waves leave little room for doubt. Thy talents will be needed ere long. If there be truth in my suspicions, 'tis a familiar foe we face, though one quite unlike the Lady of the Vortex. Menphilia says, we dare not draw conclusions without evidence, but as Ondre says, the readings bear a strong resemblance to ones observed more than 5 years ago. Though I had imagined that the Muggles guard beyond such follies. Suffice it to say, this disturbance warrants a full investigation. Oriondre says, thy presence hath been requested by Commander Hollyoaks. He awaiteth thee at the Adder's Nest. Menphilia says, pray hasten to Gordonia, Nyra. Yede and Papa Limo will rendezvous with you there. May you walk in the light of the crystal. Alright, Gordonia. Okay, over here. Oh, here we go. This guy. Hail, Commander. He says, a pleasure to see you as always, Nyra. Thank you for answering my summons. Quite frankly, I could think of no one more qualified to, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Allow me to explain. The commander continues. Not long ago, the Mughal Kupo visited the Adder's Nest to request an audience with the Elder Seedseer. He spoke of an imminent threat to all Mughal kind, one which would imperil the entire Twelveswood if left unchecked. You proved an able ambassador to the Siths, and we would have you reprise your role in our dealings with the Mughals. The rest you should hear from Kapulu Koop himself. He awaits you with the Elder Seedseer at the Lotus Stand. Okay. That's over by the Conjurers, I think. Hail. Silent Conjurer says, The other Scorpions have already arrived, ma'am. May I show you in? Yeah, you may. Cutscene. Oh, hi. Oh. Alright. Kupo says, please, you have to stop them. But you mustn't kill them. They're not bad, Muggles, Kupo. They're just misguided. A gentle, no, firm thrashing is in order, yes, but no. Rhea Osina says, calm yourself, Cup-Lu Cope. Can you not see that she hasn't the faintest idea what you're talking about? Be quiet this instant. Pray, forgive his witless outburst, sister. Elder Sincere says, most grateful am I that you have come, Nyra, and upon such short notice. Truly, Gridonia could not wish for a more steward ally. She continues, but you are doubtless eager to know wherefore we summoned you. Our friend, Kupo has brought to us news of a most unsettling development. It would seem that good King Mogul Mog, the 12, I think, has returned to Erosia. Rhea says, a curious thing to hear, I know. Truth to tell, I myself cannot say for sure if he is a genuine figure from history or some manifestation of Muggle mythology. Kupo here would have me believe the former. Kuplo Kop says, once upon a time, we Muggles served the gods in the heavens. It was quite nice up there. Unspeakably beautiful, unimaginably spacious, and with a literally endless supply of wine, Kupo. In spite of this, or possibly because of the last part, the gods eventually became discontent and started squabbling, which made life jolly difficult for the poor Muggles. So, good King Muggle Mog the 12th, may his glorious name live forever, decreed that the time had come to leave Kupo. The realm of men will suffice, he said. So all the Muggles should live there instead. Unfortunately, the two realms are so far apart that we couldn't safely fly down. But good King Muggle Mog 12th, may his marvelous foresight ever be praised, knew exactly what to do, Kupo. He had a rope, you see, the longest one ever woven. This he nobly held while his subjects climbed all the way down to the world below. And that is how we Muggles came to this land, Kupo. All of us except good King Muggle Mog 12th. May his courageous sacrifice never be forgotten. He alone would remain in the heavens so that Muggle kind might at last know peace. Papa Limo says, except that he has not remained in the heavens, from what I understand. That being your reason for contacting us, yes? I'll bet he tied the rope to something, says Yida. Good thinking. Remind me again what the problem was with him returning to Erosia? Elder Seeds here says, the problem, Yetta, lies in the fact that he was summoned. It is our belief that good King Muggle XII is a myth made manifest via means akin to those employed by the beast tribes in the summoning of their gods. Yetta says, wait, you're saying a handful of muggles with a boatload of crystals wished really, really hard and he just sort of appeared? Would that even work? Papa Limo says, what I can't fathom is why they would even try. With Garuda humbled and the ultimate weapon destroyed, what near threat could have prompted them to take so drastic a measure? Rhea says, might that not in itself be the answer? Twice in the last decade, Erosia has been brought onto the very brink of destruction, only to be spared at the very last by the heroics of a chosen few. To you, who braved those tempests and survived by virtue of your own strength, this latest period of peace will doubtless seem a welcome respite. But to those who had not the power to defend ourselves, who were spared only by another's grace, this is merely the calm before the storm. I think the Muggles Guard are afraid of what tomorrow will bring, and that things may not end as well as they did yesterday. That fear has driven them to call upon the greater power, one they believe can be relied upon to protect their loved ones and their homes, come what may. Kaplu Cope says, I assure you, the Muggles Guard only wants to protect the forest from outsiders. But ever since the return of good King Muggle Mog XII, may his boundless grace fill our hearts with love, they have started to get a little carried away, Kupo. Verging on a lot, in fact. Yeda says, like the Sith who summoned Rama, you mean? Papa Limo says, we cannot discount the possibility that this entity is influencing the Muggles. Elder Seedzier says, we share the same concern. Whoever or whatever the king may be, it is our belief that he proposes a threat not only to the Muggle kind, but to Gordonia as a whole. Thus, do we beseech you, Nyra, confront good King Muggle Mog XII and drive him from our midst. Humbly I do thank you. The sanctity of the Muggles Guard and their liege lord is concealed by magical words. Brother Isamiyon of the Conjurer's Guild will doubtless be able to offer insight on how they might be dispelled. Pray, seek his counsel ere you proceed any further. Alright. And I do apologize, everybody, but I have had something come up, and I do have to take my leave. So, until tomorrow, I will bid adieu, and y'all have a good one, alright? Peace out.